production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storylines with Nick Eatman.
He's Ghost, I'm Tommy.
What's up? This is another edition of Cowboys Storyline. I'm Nick Eatman here, joined right off the jump here by Will McClay. We tried to get Will on. He's like, hey, let's do it right now. So usually have a guest in the second segment, and we are still expecting to have cornerback DaRon Bland. But, man, we'll start it off here. The guy that pretty much drafted him, a smart draft in the 5th round, getting DaRon Bland. But here's Will McClay, the Vice President of Player Personnel, and he runs that war room in there, or one of them. Sorry, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Get you in trouble. You guys are collaborative.
Yes.
First of all, how's camp going so far? I mean, are guys seeing, showing you stuff that you want to see?
It's very good. It's competitive. You're getting to see some things about them, and now we're getting them ready to play games, and that's where it matters to find out about the small guys.
Yeah.
The young guys.
Soft-spoken Will McClay. Got to get the mic up to you. Soft-spoken on the mic. I've seen you when you're not sometimes. But it doesn't feel like the defense is kicking the offense's ass or the offense kicks the defense. It feels like there's periods where one gets the better, but that's got to be healthy, right?
Yeah, that's what makes us it's going to make us a great team and an opportunity. It's the battle between the offense and defense and the competition, and, iron sharpens iron. And then let's get ready to play the preseason games and figure this out and figure out our 53, but these guys are competing well.
We always look at the rookies. We look at the rookies that you guys draft and also the ones you bring in after the draft, because you guys have a great track record of doing that. Can you give me some guys that are standing out more than others that you're just like, wow, we maybe didn't expect that?
I don't want to get into names because there's also part of the scouting deal is I look at everybody's website to see who they're talking about.
Oh.
So don't really want to bring up names, but what we are doing is, for a team to survive, young guys have to make it because of the salary cap and everything else. So it's about seeing the young guys, how they'll compete, how they mix in with the vets, and then how they compete. That's a big part of this whole deal, and how do you build the team with those young guys that can add something to you.
And so I can't ask you about some 7th round receiver pick, anything that's doing well?
There's a lot of kids doing a lot of good things, but the games will tell the story.
Okay. All right. So I won't talk about that. Let's talk about the last year's draft, Dave, because those guys aren't going anywhere. We are expecting, like I said, to get DaRon Bland. And what did you see out of him, 5th round? And what a great rookie season he had. But what were the traits that you saw there to take him?
Dan's come in here on the defense, and they go through and they tell us the type of players that they're looking for, and they say, okay, what can a guy do? And then we try and use those strengths. So what you're looking at DaRon, when he was coming out, he was a guy who had athleticism, who had size, length, and had a competitive spirit. And that's a big part about it. And with him, when the ball's in the air, he's competing for it. And so you got an opportunity to see that. When he got a chance to play, he was ready for it. It wasn't too big for him.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's played inside, outside, and it seems like today's with the wide receivers, the great receivers are the ones that are lining up inside, outside. So you need cornerbacks that can match.
That can do the same thing. That can match because offenses are going to try and get their best player, move around, see what you do defensively. The more pieces that you have that can match with that, the better your defense is, and that's what we strive to do. And Dan and the defense putting him in the right position. He came at the right time for us because we lost at that point in time a very big piece of our team in Jordan Lewis, and you're looking for somebody to step up, and this kid's rookie just steps up, and it was like he'd been here for a long time.
So when you played at Rice, were you an inside, outside guy?
It was back in the Southwest Conference days, and people give me a hard time. I mean, there's a picture of me with a neck brace on. You can't play corner with a
you had a roll
collar on. Yeah.
Oh,
but it was Southwest Conference. I had to tackle
Well, yeah. I told you the other day, I saw a YouTube video of Rice versus Arkansas. They're running the wishbone.
Yeah.
So it's hard for you to make a lot of plays.
Yeah, my coverage skills were undervalued during the time where I played.
Well, I'm guarantee you got tested in the Arena League because that's what they did. Is they threw the ball, threw it around. I know you played several years over there as well. All right. Will, let's also talk about. I know you don't want to talk specifically about some of your guys here, but Deuce Vaughn is a guy that's caught a lot of attention. Of course, you've known him since he was, in high school, right? Yep. And even before that, 7th grade, I think is what you said. What with Pollard being out a couple days, personal reasons, Ronald Jones being out with a groin injury, he's getting some carries as a running back, not just a niche player. He's getting the ball right up the middle.
Well, we drafted him because he's a running back, and there's some things he can do. The only thing he's missing is height. The heart, the speed, all those things he has, and he's got great instincts. So that's what happens at training camp. We talk about availability. So if something happens to a guy, who's going to step up and take advantage of the reps that they get? And he's doing a good job with that, taking those reps, and that's why we drafted him. The kid can play running back.
Well, you obviously don't. You talk with the Joneses, I'm sure, multiple times a day. You don't really get into the money stuff, so the Zach Martin situation's out of your control. But it does open doors for it gets you a good opportunity to see what these backup guards are doing.
It gives us an opportunity to evaluate. That's, going back to what I always say, it's Darwinism. So something happens, we need somebody to step in and fill that void. So we're getting an opportunity to see guys and to see, how they mix and match with the players that we have. The starters, Zach's not here, but other guys are getting the opportunity. And, we got to show who, if things don't work out, who's going to be in there.
6'8" guard right now is what we see, and that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound right in the NBA. It doesn't even sound right in the NFL. But Josh Ball's trying to do that. Obviously, leverage is a big deal. But is he? You like what you're seeing so far? The big guy that tall?
Yeah, football is a game of leverage and angles, and you've got to be able to play with leverage on the line, and so you got to be able to bend, which is your angles. He can do all that stuff. He's a big, powerful, athletic guy, and so we're putting him in a position to see if he can handle it.
Well, I could probably ask you 100 questions here, all day long. Of course, you don't have time for that. So I appreciated the time. I know this was last second, so we're really, really excited to have you here. And hopefully, again, sometime down during the season, we can get your opinion.
Always down to talk to you, brother.
All right, that's Will McClay, the Vice President of Player Personnel. We'll be right back with Cowboys quarterback DaRon Bland.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Cowboys storylines.
Welcome back to Cowboys Storylines. I'm Nick Eatman, and as we just mentioned, we've got Cowboys second-year cornerback DaRon Bland with us. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
How's it going? Camp going so far here? We actually had some rain this morning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
We didn't expect that today.
No. I mean, we've been coming out here since, 22 years, give or take. Yeah, probably about 17, 18 times. I only counted like 2 or 3 times it's ever rained, so this is rare. So something weird is probably going to happen today.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. All right. So how about on the field? How's it gone so far with you battling? You got some good receivers out there on the other side.
Definitely.
Iron sharpens iron is what they say.
Yeah.
So how's it going on from your side?
It's been good. Going this year feels a lot more comfortable than last year. I know where I'm at now, so it's been good.
Say that. Answer that for me a little bit. You know where you're at. You know where you're at. Mentally, physically, the defense, you understand?
Yeah, just being where I'm at, where my feet are. So, we were where the defense is, what we're doing. I'm not second guessing myself now. And I know what I'm doing now.
Got it. What is a year 2 jump? We always talk about year 2 jump. What does that mean for you? What was the biggest part? Is it weight room, how you feel? Is it just knowing what to expect coming into Oxnard?
For me, it was my mind. I felt like sometimes, like last year, I was playing more so on instincts than anything. So I feel like I'm just trying to get my mind speed better up to par, so that's knowing the defense, knowing how offenses are attacking us in the situations.
Your confidence has got to be a lot different than it was last year.
Yeah.
You come in now and you led the team in picks last year, and really showed you could play inside, outside. Confidence for a corner has got to be the biggest thing, right?
Oh yeah, you got the top tier thing. Like, you gotta always have confidence, because some plays they're gonna get you, and some plays you're gonna get got. I mean, get them back. So you gotta always have that top tier confidence.
So, and I've also I've been told you gotta have great confidence for a corner. You also have to have a bad memory. So if you give up a play, you gotta let it go. Now, how about the flip side? You have a great rookie season. Now you're building off of that. You got to have a bad memory too, and say that doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is in front of me.
Yeah. That's one of our mottos: is never get too high, never get too low. So always have that neutral mindset where you at, so you can't get too high, or you're gonna forget.
All right. Well, this is a fan show. This is one for I can't. It's not just me up here all the time. I get some fans that send stuff in, and I was able to. This is a last second thing to get DaRon up here. So I sent out a tweet. Got some good questions already. So I want to throw some at you from our fans. One of them from Mayo. He says, "Who's been harder to cover in practice out of Tolbert, Brooks, and Turpin?" Of course, you don't want to single out anyone, but what's tell me a little bit quick about all of them. What does Turpin give? That's obviously it's quick little guy speed, huh?
Well, I haven't really got to go against Brooks a lot, so I can't really say too much on Brooks. But I say he does have some speed to him. It's real deceiving, so
yeah,
I give that to Brooks, and then
I know you're going up against Tolbert.
Yeah, I go against Tolbert and Turpin quite a few times. So I'll say about Turpin, his speed, and he's quick too. So that's one thing that's a lot of misunderstanding about him. He's quick, and then fast too. So him, and then Tolbert, this is how he gets in and out of his breaks.
Yeah,
that's one of the hard parts about him.
Have you seen a year 2 jump for him as well? You've seen him a little much different than receiver than last year.
Yeah, you always talk. So you always talk about how you're gonna go into this year. So he has the right mindset this year. So.
All right. Brett Bender has a question for you. He said, after a great rookie year, setting the bar high for yourself with 5 picks, what are the goals you have this year for your growth as a player?
Based off last year,
Got individual goals?
Yeah, I'm trying to at least get 5 or more. At least try to top of that again. So I'll probably say also get better at tackling.
Yeah,
one of the biggest things too.
So you've played inside, you played some outside. What is it? How tough is it to kind of go back and forth? Or is it? Because receivers are lining up inside and out. Is it much different when you line up inside than out?
At first, it was definitely hard. There's different views on being inside and outside. Some things on the inside come quicker than they are coming on the outside. So at first, it was hard, but once you get the hang of it, it's kind of easy.
All right. Here's a good one from Daniel Barnett. He said, after your success as a rookie year, are you now your second year guy? Are you sharing some of the success you had to help maybe an Eric Scott, other rookie DBs like that?
Yeah, definitely, all the time. Always been a guy that's always trying to share what I know, what my ideas are, or what I'm be thinking sometimes to other guys.
And let's flip that to the older guys that come in. So Stephon Gilmore comes in. What has he brought to the cornerback room? It seems like he's got a lot of experience, and he's willing to help younger guys. What have you seen so far out of Gilmore?
Just how to be professional in general. He teaches how he treats his body and everything, how he likes to practice, and what his mindset of practice too. Like just being intentional every day in practice.
There's been a lot of talk here at camp. Probably a lot of it unnecessary, but I'm going to bring it up too. Diggs and Dak, they like to chirp a little bit, but that's what cornerbacks do. The greatest one of all time talked all the time, of course, Deion, and that's my opinion at least, as the best corner. how healthy is that for you guys to battle with the receivers and the quarterbacks and raise the level of competition in practice?
It's great, it shows each other that we're here to fight. We both got each other's backs, and when it comes to the game. But right now, we're going against each other. We're both dogs. So
What's your level of trash talk from 0 to 10? I mean, I honestly, I'm out there and I don't hear a lot out of you. Do you bark a little bit?
No, not really.
No. What if a receiver beats you and says, "Yeah, all day"? Nothing.
We're gonna get him on the next play.
Is that what? Okay, that's good. That's good. I mean, everybody's got their own style. From what I hear, Diggs doesn't talk to receivers at all. It's only Dak that kind of gets him kind of riled up for some reason. So, but yeah, hey, what works for you, for anybody, I guess. So, all right. Sorry, off the field here. What's it been like? Second year here. I mean, as far as roommate, the eating, the weather, all that. I mean, is it a relaxed atmosphere? Last year you were a rookie. Your head must be spinning.
Yeah, definitely this year is more relaxed. Get to take into the scenery now.
Yeah,
so it's great.
So, do you hope to play some here in the preseason? Do those reps matter for you? Do you want? I mean, as a competitor, these guys say always want to play, but do you need 3 games, 1 game? Does it matter?
I don't know, but I would value the reps during the preseason, getting ready for the regular season and then on. So I'd like to get some reps.
All right, I can't probably say Aurelio Nunez Jr., shout out to Bland, way to represent Fresno. So you're from, Fresno's not here, but it is obviously California.
Yeah.
You got family and friends that kind of you've seen. I think you had some family here a few days ago, right?
Yeah, I had some family a few days ago, and then the first weekend.
What's that like to see people that come here support you and fans too, kind of shouting out to you and you've earned some respect not only from family but also fans and all that. That must be a great feeling.
Yeah, it's a blessing, just to be in a place where that's not too far for my family to be able to come and see it, what I'm doing and everything. So it's been good.
All right, so goals that he's got this year: 5 or more picks, maybe a house call.
Maybe.
A house call. You have a dance. Do you have a dance in place if you have one?
I got to think of that. I've been thinking about that one.
Yeah. Is it what do you? Is it like a night before thing, or do you just you're already?
I don't know. I feel like you think about it too hard and then it don't really come to you, but it probably comes to me when time comes.
Just the vibes I'm getting here is just hand the ball to the ref type of thing. But you're gonna show out more than that, right?
We'll see. Okay.
All right. All right, I appreciate it. So we're working on the touchdown dance. We're gonna get 5 or more picks, and obviously it's a team thing more than anything. You guys seem like you have a great cornerback room there. Young guys, older guys, in between, all that. Looking forward to that, and that pass rush in front of you that kind of helps
great,
you guys.
Yeah.
They just come in waves though. Helps get picks. All right. Awesome. Well, DaRon, we really appreciate you stopping by. That's DaRon Bland, second-year cornerback. Expect some big things out of him this year. We'll be right back here for the final segment to take your questions on Cowboys Storyline.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
Final segment, Cowboys Storyline. We've got two guests to start this thing off, man. Will McClay and then DaRon Bland. I'd like to thank both of them for coming by, talking about everything, training camp, competition, battling with receivers, trash talk, all that good stuff. I told Will afterwards, I mean, both of them are really good at talking and being really nice with the answers and not saying a whole lot. That's an art. It's an art. Romo was really good at that as well. No, but for Will McClay's situation, I mean, his thing is that he don't want to talk about any receiver, any running back, any good player, because all that does is it exposes them, I guess, to other teams. But I can say right now, I don't think Jalen Brooks is going anywhere. I don't think you're sneaking him by anything. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when the game's going on. All right, this is the last segment that we get fans' questions. We got a few of them here, so we're going to kind of roll through them. We've got them on the text line that have come in. We've got some from Twitter as well. So I'll start with this one. You're starting to see some of the same names, some of these guys that are like committed to the show. I like a little bit more, but I like what I'm seeing, with the guy like a Brett Bender every time. He actually asked one earlier to DaRon, but he asked this one too. Though we used a high pick on Kelvin Joseph, could he be a surprise cut this year? I know he's been used on special teams. We have a bunch of young guys. I'm not sure how much longer we hold on to Joseph. Third-year guy. Obviously, he's had his issues off the field. That hasn't had one in, this year. But, I mean, it's always a matter of just what does he provide? What does he provide for you? And he's a second-round pick. So, yeah, that's good. But you'd like to think your second-round pick would do more than just special teams. He wasn't drafted to play special teams. He was drafted to be a really, really good corner. And, he has his moments there. He is a very athletic player. He's strong. So, like any player, it comes down to, is he the best option that you have? I think draft status at this point's out of the window. It's out the window at this time. I really do. I think that if he's not better than Nashawn Wright, Eric Scott, and those guys, then I think the Cowboys probably could move on from him if that's what they want to do. I'm sure Bones Fossil would love to have him on special teams, but I think at this point it's got to be a little bit more than that. All right, Daniel Vega from Austin, Texas. It doesn't seem like we've heard a lot about Jabril Cox this year. He's not a guy that could be on the outside looking in, right? Right. I don't think he is on the outside looking in. I think he's a part of the plans. Again, another draft pick that they had some high hopes for. He's had some injury issues, but he actually has looked pretty good. I know if you listen to Nate Newton, who watches a lot of the trenches and the inside stuff, he really likes what he sees about Jabril Cox going in there, filling the gap, making plays in run support, which for a smaller size linebacker, that's one of those areas that can be dicey at times. Are you going to go up and fill? And he's done that pretty good so far from what we've seen in practice. Another good special teams guy. Linebackers, there's not a ton of depth there. I just don't see a scenario where Jabril Cox doesn't make this team. So, good question. Sometimes not being heard is a good thing. It's not always a good thing to be like getting talked about all the time. So, yeah, I think that's good. All right, go to the text line here. George in D.C., he says, do you feel the starter should play at least a couple of series during preseason games? No, I don't. I don't feel that way. I just don't think they have to play hardly at all. I mean, I've totally changed my tune there. I just don't think that they need to. I think injuries are just way just the pros and cons that just it's too much for an injury. Now, If you really want to see some guys play a certain position, that's fine, but that's not typically the case from your starters. So your starters that you know are making the team and you know are going to start, I'm not playing them. If there's a guy that could start and maybe he's got to win the job, like say a Jake Ferguson or something, then I'm for that, because that's a good way to separate the two. But then there's a domino effect, though. It's like, well, you can't say I want to play this starting running back, but I don't want to play the offensive line, because then you're not getting a really good stance on anything if you're not seeing the running backs behind the first team line and all that. So they kind of go hand in hand. Another question, though, speaking of running backs, another question. I'll stick with George from DC. Doubles up. He says, what do you guys think of the chances of Zach Martin retiring this year? Where he says retiring in general. Yeah, I think there's 100% chance he's going to retire at some point in his career. This year, I don't think that. If you were going to do that, I mean, I don't know. Do you get your money back? I mean, because you're holding out now. You're not moved over to the list. But, I mean, if you were going to do that, maybe you just retire. You don't get getting an $800,000 fine and counting. I don't think that's happened. That's not what the stance is. The stance is to make more money. When you make more money because you're playing, I think he's thinking about it, but not right now, not this year. All right, let's keep going. MJ Stewart, any chance Will Grier beats out Cooper Rush for the number 2 job? What has to happen for that? Yeah, it could happen. Will Grier plays a lot better than Cooper Rush in the preseason games. They're both going to play. I mean, Dak's not going to play. There's only 3 quarterbacks, so those 2 guys are going to play a lot. One guy's going to have to play considerably better than the other. If it's even, Cooper Rush keeps it. If it's close, Cooper Rush keeps it. Will Grier's going to have to be head and shoulders better than Cooper Rush to probably be the number 2 quarterback. And to do that, you're going to have to play, with those guys, with those starters or at least core players. So the Cowboys are going to have to decide if that's what they want to do. All right. Looking for some more questions here on the text line. This one's just from a 254 number. Philip Jackson. He said, with the new faster Texas Coast offense, what are the chances we see more 2-back sets? I think that would create a lot of problems for defenses. Yeah, I mean, especially if Deuce is involved there. Deuce being one of the backs, I mean, that's going to be just a kind of a weird dynamic for defenses in general. They're going to have to figure out how to stop him. So, yeah, I definitely think that you could see some two backs there. Don't know if it's going to be. I couldn't see like a Malik and Pollard, but it's got to be another back that does some dynamic things. All right, Cowboy Lifer 12. Do you remember when Turpin had the 2 returns last year and they pulled him for the rest of the preseason? Do you think he will get the same treatment now? Well, if he takes 2 back to the house in the first game, then yeah, probably. I don't know. I think for him, he needs to play wide receiver. That's what we need to see him in the preseason. Kick returns, maybe not, because Deuce Vaughn, I think, could do it, and we'd like to see him as well. But I want to see Kevontae Turpin as a wide receiver. That's the one thing that I think he should really be used for in the preseason. All right, Julian Ramirez, San Angelo, Texas. This seems to be a really quiet camp for DeMarcus Lawrence. Is he hurt? What should we expect from the tank? Not hurt. It has been kind of quiet for him. Again, that's not a bad thing all the time. I mean, I think he's played. He's been good. But he's an older guy too. I'm not saying he gets veteran days, but I think wearing him out and making him make all these plays out here, that's not necessarily something that is needed right now. So no, I don't think that you have to have that. Him make a lot of plays. Sorry, I'm trying to find this one question. It's got to do, I don't have another hands up here, so I'm trying to find this. So really good question here I want to answer. going back to DeMarcus Lawrence, I think he's fine. He's going to be rushing from the outside, rushing from the inside. Remember, he's coming off a Pro Bowl season. DeMarcus Lawrence is fine. They're just making sure that they take care of him, but can't say there's been any issues with him. I expect another big season out of him. All right, this is one I was looking for here. Maurice McClay. Danny's brother, maybe? No, maybe not. From Tacoma, Washington. Long-time listener, lifetime Cowboys fan. All right, scenario here. It's 4th and 2. The opponent has no timeouts. 2 minutes left on the clock. Who are you giving the ball to seal the deal? No timeouts. Means you get a first down. The game is over. I'm not dodging the question, but I would like to know what happened in the first 58 minutes of the game. I mean, Rico Dowdle has 137 yards. I mean, I think he's probably getting the ball. I mean, but I get. Let's play along. Let's play along with the spirit of the question. That's a tough question because it's 4th and 2. You gotta get it, and it's you want to pass it, but you have to keep the clock started. 100% keep the clock rolling. I'm sorry. So. I think it's a bubble screen. I think it's a bubble screen to CD or Cooks. That's what I think. A little fake, little quick pass there. You got blockers in front. Make sure you catch the football, and then that you got the guy in space. That's what I do on 4th and 2. Now 4th and 1. Let's change it to 4th and 1. I know what you're really asking. Who's running the football for 4th and 1? Because it's 4th and 2. I don't know if I like Zeke doing that. Honestly, it's a lot when they know you're running the football. So if it's 4th and 2, I'm probably throwing a bubble screen, something that can keep the clock rolling, safe pass, but also in the space. I'm also 4th and 1. I'm going with Dak. Until the NFL changes the rules on pushing from behind. I go with Dak and I let somebody shove him in the back and try to get that. I think he's your biggest back right now. That could probably get the 1 yard. So that's what I would do. I hope that answered the question right. All right, Marcus Hunter from Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out. My birthplace. First year of my life there. It was a good year. All right. Marcus Hunter. Any undrafted free agents standing out this year? Why do you think the Cowboys have had success here? And then he doubles up and says, who are the top 5 in Cowboys history? All right. Let's start with who's standing out this year. TJ Bass, I think, has a chance to do some things at guard. Looks pretty good. Jalen Marino Cropper had a good start to training camp. He's kind of leveled off a little bit, but he's made some nice plays. Miles Brooks, cornerback, seems to kind of always do something positive there. So I like what I'm seeing out of him. I haven't seen a ton out of Hunter Lipke just yet, but the guy that's probably doing the most is a tight end / receiver, John Stevens. That guy has got something to him, and he's about 6'6", number 49. They've listed him as receiver. He's working with the tight ends, but that dynamic alone just tells you that what he can do. And I talked to the tight ends coach, Lunda Wells, the other day, and he says that he is blocking way better than maybe anticipated for a guy that is 6'6". He's kind of lean, and he actually mixes it up pretty good. So that is a very good combination of a guy that can catch from the outside, not afraid to mix it up inside. Why the Cowboys had success there? Well, I mean, it's recruiting, and that's part of it. You know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, the Cowboys are a franchise that still people, I think, would want to go to. And so when you get down to it, you are recruiting. And because you've had success, then they know that agents know that the Cowboys have value in that. So just because you're coming as an undrafted free agent doesn't mean you're not going to have a chance. I mean, there's guys that have done it. So I think that they've developed players in the past, and that kind of helps the pipeline. And you know, I just also think, you know, it's a play. And no knock at other teams. I mean, if there's another team that has an opening that a running back could maybe make the team or maybe even potential start, like, you got to look at that. But I think there's a lot of teams that are kind of the same, and the Cowboys still kind of have that, you know, they have that star. They have that mystique. So that's part of it. And then, but more than anything, it's the success. who are the top 5 of all time? I mean, you got Drew Pearson and Cliff Harris and Tony Romo, and I probably should have written these down. I mean, I know I'm missing some. I mean, I think of Cole Beasley, and I think of Miles Austin and Dan Bailey, who was a good one. Recent guys, Ron Leary, Lance Dunbar. I'm just thinking of some like that. I mean, this team has some as well. Like currently, I'm not thinking of it as much, but I mean, you asked for 5. I mean, those are the guys there. I mean, you got your Ring of Honor and some Hall of Famers there in Drew Pearson and Cliff Harris. And, I mean, Romo's probably one of the very best of all time just because, you're the face of the franchise. You're a guy from Eastern Illinois, and you come in and with Bill Parcells, and you sit for 2 years or so, and then you become, the face of the franchise. And as I've said before, he's the diaper. That's the nickname I gave Tony Romo, and you can give it to other people. I've never given it to anyone else, but Tony Romo was the diaper for this team. And I can say that because I have kids. I've had enough to know that if you take the diaper away, it stinks. It doesn't look good. There's a lot of crap in there that gets covered up by the diaper. The diaper can do that, and that's what happens. We saw it when Romo wasn't there. The team was really, really bad, and it was the same season that they were really good. So I think Romo is probably one of probably the greatest undrafted free agent of all time because he was the face of the franchise. And when people like to compare him to Danny White, no disrespect to Danny White, but Danny White took over a team in 1980, and the team went downhill. Even though they went to the NFC Championship game, they never went to the Super Bowl, Staubach had that team, and they kind of were on the decline. Romo took over a team, the team was better. And the team was better. And then when Dak came in, same thing, Dak was ready to go, and you got to give Dak credit too. But undrafted free agent, if that was the question, the best of all time, I say Romo with Pearson, obviously Pearson and Cliff Harris right there is a close second. All right, well that'll do it for today's show. We've had a lot of contributors here. We started off with Will McClay, then we had DaRon Bland, and we have a lot of great questions from you guys. This will be our last show of the week. But we will come back next week, and we hope to get that quarterback. That's the one we're really looking for. But also, we got some other guests lined up for next week as well, so we're really excited about that. All right, so for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you next time on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!